Hey everyone, and welcome back to our AWS Cloud Security Foundation series. In this module, we are diving into a critical aspect of cloud security, responding to and managing security incidents. In this hands-on lab 7.1, we will be putting our incident response skills on the test to remediating the security misconfigurations using the powerful combination of AWS Config and Lambda. So we have to click on this lab 7.1 where we will have to access the lab environment. This lab has six tasks to perform, and which is comprised on 14 activities. The time allocated to complete this lab is 75 minutes, whereas the total time is available time is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So we have to start the lab. It may take 1 to 2 minutes. So the AWS Management Console will be available for us to perform the lab. So after completing this lab, we should be able to do the following, like explain how to use AWS identity and access management roles to grant AWS service access to other AWS services, enable AWS config to monitor resources in the AWS account, create and enable custom AWS config rules, and use the pre-created Lambda functions, test the behavior of an AWS config rule to ensure it's working as intended. And we have, in the end, we have to analyze Amazon CloudWatch logs to audit when AWS config rules are invoked. So the first step is we have to wait until this AWS console is up with the green button, and then we have to access the access management console, and it is up now, and then we have to click on this one, so we should be able to access the environment. In the very first step, task 1, that is examining and updating IAM role. So for that we have to go and choose IAM and see that is here. Here we have to see the role of AWS config Lambda SG role. So that is here. Here we have to see on the permission tab the security group role policy. So AWS configuration Lambda S3 policy. So we can click on that, we can look at that, and then here by clicking on this one we can see the policy that is here. It is allowing us some things, right? For the configuration to describe security groups, authorize security group, and revoke security groups and all, and then that is allowed. There are a few activities that are allowed for this security group. So after that we have to go and for another role, and here we want to see the role AWS config role. So that is another role we have to see, and we have to update that role. So click on that. Here we can see that there is one policy associated with that, that is S3 access policy is there, and then we are going to add another permission, attach another policy. So for that we have to go for the add permissions, attach policies, and in attach policies we have to search AWS configuration role policy. So AWS configuration role policy, here we can see the policy. We have to select this one, and then we have to add permissions, right? So another policy is also attached to this user role. AWS config role. So the task is completed, and then we can see AWS configuration role. Obviously, we can expand it from here and see there are many permissions are allocated to this role now. Right. Okay. Next thing, that is task number 2, setting up AWS config to monitor resources. In this setup, we have to go for the AWS config. AWS config. So here we have to get started, and then we have to make some configurations here. So recording strategies, get started, recording strategies. So for that we have to have specific resource type, and then we have different type of resources. Here we have to choose this resource type. So we have to search for that, and then we can select this one, and frequency is continuous. And then I am role for AWS config, choose a role from the account. Here we have AWS config role that we are going to select, and then delivery channel, that is S3 bucket, that is already here, and nothing to change now. Okay, go to next, keep it as default, next, and then confirm it. All right. So S3 bucket created successfully, and then some other configurations are also. So the configuration is done here, it is confirmed. And then to observe resource inventory, navigation pane, go to resources, and then here we have to see resource inventory page displayed. So here we have to see EC2 security group. Here security group, and then apply, and then we can see that there are few resources identified as which type is EC2 security group. So this is also done. In the task 3, modifying a security group that AWS config monitor. So for that we have to go for the VPC, and then we have to select the lab VPC. So VPC, and then we have to go for VPCs. Here we have to select the lab VPC, right? In the lab VPC, we have to see the security group, where we will have lab ST1 security group, and then we will have lab ST1. We have to select this security group, and in that there are some inbound rules. Actually, there is only one inbound rule by default, that is HTTP. Then we have to add a few more rules. So that is one HTTP rule. So we have to edit this one, and we have to add another rule. So the existing rule is also be going to modify with a source to anywhere IPv4. So we have to change it first, and then we have to add few more rules, that is HTTP, another one that is HTTPS, and that is also allowed anywhere. And then there is another SMTPS, the same anywhere, and then IMAPS, that is another protocol, and that is also added here, right? And then we have to save the rule, and then we can see save the rule, and then we can see that now there are 4 rules defined, right? Okay, next task is to create an AWS config rule that calls the Lambda function. Remember this rule, there are 4 rules now. And then we have to see another one. We have to create an AWS config rule that calls a Lambda function. So for that we have to go to AWS details section and copy the Lambda function ARN, so that we have to create the Lambda function, right? Lambda configuration rule. So for that we have to go here and then AWS details. Here we can see there is Lambda function ARN, so we have to copy this one, and then we have to go for AWS configuration. Again we have to go for AWS config, and here we are going to add the rule. So add the rule, and in here we are going to create a custom Lambda function for us, and then for that we have to add this one. We have to be very critical in here because there must not be any space before or after, right? So sometime it may happen. Okay, what is the name of the rule? That is CT security group, and then we are going to add the description, that is this one. Okay, next thing, that is trigger type. When configuration changes, whenever there is configuration change, it should be triggered. So we are going to click this one, and not for all but only for the resources. And then resource type, that is AWS EC2 security group. Actually we are just limiting it, so AWS security group. Or we can copy it, or there is no space in between, so that's why. Okay, security group. Okay, and then for the parameters we have to go for debug and true. And the value is true, right? Okay, next we have to go next and save it, right? So the rule is defined here. We have to click on this rule, and then we have to see if there is any resources available for that. We have to wait a bit because it will take a bit time to trigger the rules, right? So we have to wait for a while. Okay, let's check it. Now we can see that the rules are converged here, right? So we can see the resources that are available, that are changed during this process. Okay, next thing, that is revisiting the security group configuration. So we made some rules in the VPC. Now we have to see that what is their status now. So we have to go back to VPC. In VPC, actually we are going for the lab VPC, right? The same. And then in that lab VPC we are going for the security groups, and then in the security groups we have to see this one. And now you can see that instead of SMTPS or PS, there are now STTP and HTTP rules. So that has been changed. Instead of previous one, now these are the new rules. Instead of IMAPS or SMTP, now there is only HTTP and HTTPS. So it overrides the previous rules. Okay. Now next thing, that is analyze the Lambda function code. We have to go for the Lambda console. In here we have this AWS configuration, and then in here we have to go and see the code source that is generating here. So this is the code which is generated, Python code. So in here we can see that there is import boto3, which is imported here, and next thing, that is required permissions. So the permissions are regarding the TCP and port 80 and port 443, right, for HTTP and HTTPS. Also we can see here on the line 117, that is security groups. 117 security groups are here. Okay, authorized permissions and security groups. And next thing, that is on the line 129, that is debug parameter. Here it is debug parameter, right? Okay, so we have analyzed that the security incidents occurred before we created AWS configuration rule and Lambda function to remediate such incidents. During initial rule validation, AWS config detected the security incident, and then it changed it. Okay. Next thing, that is we have to see all these in the CloudWatch. So we have to go and open the CloudWatch. CloudWatch. Okay. CloudWatch. We have to see the log and log groups. In the logs, there is log groups. In the log groups, there is AWS Lambda functions. Okay, so there are many log streams available. We can see the streams, and then we can find out different activities when the policies was assigned, when that was overruled, override, and then the changes and everything, right? So that is detective and everything, whatever things that happen, that is logged here. So for that, we have to go for search for revoked for, and then so here we will have some logs related to revoked. For, or what is that, revoking for? Okay, sorry. So there are some logs that change the protocol, right? Okay, and then in one of the event we can find out details showing that inbound rules that we manually added SMTP and IMAPS were removed, and now there is other rules in place, right? So we can see these for all. We can search for this one, and here we will see, and then in the same fashion we can go and we can see here and look for. So there is only one. Okay, so this is the end of the lab, so we need to submit the lab now. Submit. Okay. So we have completed the lab successfully with maximum grade 30 over 30. Thank you for watching and learning the AWS cloud security.